Hi guys, today topic about vestibular neuronitis. Better term is vestibular neuritis as in it is an acute peripheral vestibulopathy, also known as vestibular neuronitis. The term vestibular neuritis given by Charles Skinner Holpike in 1949 and Margaret Ruth Disk Charles Skinner Holpike in 1952. The vestibular neuronitis was replaced by term vestibular neuritis because there is strong evidence that the vestibular ganglion cells themselves are not inflamed but rather part of the vestibular nerve is inflamed. So, in vestibular neuritis, there is part of the vestibular nerve is inflamed, not the vestibular ganglionic cells. So, better term is it is vestibular neuritis. Recently, it has been recommended to consider vestibular neuritis as an acute unilateral vestibulopathy according to the International Classification of Vestibular Disorders. Vestibular neuritis caused by inflammation of vestibular portion of 8th cranial nerve, mainly superior division, and classically present with vertigo, nausea, gait imbalance, post-viral. It is believed to be associated with preceding or accompanying viral infection. So these patients typically present with vertigo post-viral between 7th and 10th day after the URTI or pharyngitis. So this is classical presentation. Etiology: vestibular neuritis is believed to be inflammatory disorder selectively affecting the vestibular portion of 8th cranial nerve. The cause is presumed to be viral origin. It is the second most common of vertigo after BPPV and age between 30 to 50 years of age. The sex it's equal in male and female. According to a recent study, vestibular neuritis has been reported to occur even more frequently in those over age of 70 years. So this vestibular neuritis now commonly because of immunocompromise or other unknown causes, it's recently found as older age. So this is common pathology for vertigo after BPPV in old age cases also. In this, vertigo's duration is long. What is pathophysiology? The vestibular neuritis occurs mainly in superior division because the superior division having narrow canal and longer canal, while inferior division having short canal and wide canal. So it's common in the superior division. While you are doing surgery for vestibular neuritis, you have to cut the superior division. So this swelling of this superior division may be because of viral infection or edema or other autoimmune process by maybe T helper or T suppressor cells which are leading to immunological reactions in the neural bundles. So this is known pathology. We can say this is the hypothesis behind the vestibular neuritis. So this superior division is because of long and that narrow canal is mainly involved. The vertigo clinically, if you see vertigo vestibular neuritis increase gradually over several hours, peaking on first day itself. It's usually rotational vertigo and patient present maximum vertigo on 1 to 3 days. The if severe vertigo it's persistent or it increased by the head motion and there may be nausea, vomiting, gait instability is there and duration of vertigo more than 1 hour mainly and there is some giddiness also and these type of patient may have chances of falling. So this is the classical presentation of vestibular neuritis and there is associated nystagmus with head movements if it is characteristic find on HITS examination. HITS means head impulse test, nystagmus and test on SQ examination. Head impulse, if you shaking the head there is nystagmus and the side suggested by fast component. And nystagmus, if you see classical torsional nystagmus and test of SQ, you cover the eye, there is patient unable to fixate the target or examiner finger during examination. So diagnosis by HITS test Hence means head impulse test, nystagmus test, and test of skew. So these tests are clinical tests. You can easily go through it. The diagnosis, you have to rule out other central causes by CT or MRI, and it's mainly clinical diagnosis. Post viral vertigo more than 1 hour, it's most likely without any neurological signs. Most likely diagnosis is vestibular neuritis. DD may be benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, Meniere's disease, labyrinthitis, central causes like vestibular migraine, vertebrovascular transient ischemic attack, brainstem ischemia, infarct, cerebellar infarct or hemorrhage. Some cases may present other DD like hearing loss, but vestibular neuritis doesn't have any hearing loss, like perilymphatic fistula, cholesteatoma, Meniere's disease, labyrinthitis, acoustic neuroma, autoimmune process, psychogenic. These disease you can easily rule out by doing simple clinical test or hearing tuning fork test. So in vestibular neuritis there is no hearing loss, but in these conditions there will be some hearing loss also present. If some DD you see are having without any hearing loss, so one of these is common is that is vestibulopathy, vestibular neuritis, central nervous disorder, Lyme disease, multiple sclerosis, BPPV, and vertebrovascular insufficiency. So these are the common disease without just its stimulate like or just it's similar to the vestibular neuritis. So these are the DD commonly found. Now treatment, management. Initially it was considered if you want to treat symptomatically. So these days only having symptomatic treatment, you have to treat giddiness, vertigo symptomatically. Initially steroid was therapy of choice. Nowadays steroid is not given in this case because long term effect of steroid is not found evidence based, so it's not, antiviral therapy is not required. Other therapy like vestibular rehabilitation therapy, symptomatic therapy, and surgery in refractory cases like transtympanic gentamicin or vestibular neurectomy can be done in these refractory cases. Otherwise, most of the cases resolve spontaneously without any medication. Just you have to reassure the patient about the vestibular neuritis. So these are the available treatment. And now talk about prognosis. Prognosis of this disease is very good, and vertigo symptoms usually improve within 24 to 48 hours of onset, and vestibular rehabilitation can speed up recovery. A recurrence is uncommon about 2 to 11% of cases. Complications, and sometimes these patients end up with benign paroxysmal positional vertigo and chronic giddiness. So these are the common complications of this disease. Thank you so much.